What is up, guys? It's Jeff, and today I am super excited. 8 days away from WWDC, where we will see likely the first beta of iOS 13. If you were also super excited, make sure to leave a like down below, comment what you guys want to see most in iOS 13, and of course, get subscribed to stay up to date with all of our content surrounding iOS 13 on WWDC 2019 day 1 and then onwards until the official release and beyond. So guys, today we have a concept made by Alvaro, I believe his name is. I'll have his that link to his concept down below. Today we're taking a look at a concept that he made that really kind of puts a lot of focus on iOS 13 and shows us what iOS 13 should be looking like with dark mode, some new features, some new apps even. It looks absolutely amazing. So let's just go ahead, take a look at this concept and show you guys what iOS 13 should be looking like on beta 1. Okay, so the main focus of this concept is really around the iPad for one, continuity, which kind of plays in line with the iPad and how it will communicate with other iDevices and of course Mac devices as well. We'll be focusing very heavily on dark mode because that's a very anticipated topic when it comes to iOS 13, and of course new features and apps. But we'll get started with the iPad first, and with the iPad concepts we see here with iOS 13, we can see that we have a new notification and control center. And honestly, these look absolutely amazing. It really includes a lot of kind of depth into how these features can be used within iOS 13. And it definitely gives a new look and feel to these two centers where you'll be doing a lot of your task. And I just really, really like it. Now, the second thing we see with the iPad here is found in kind of like the home screen or desktop area. It looks vastly different from what we have now. It looks a lot more controllable, a lot more customizable, and we also see some folders with files and even expandable folders on the dock, just like macOS. So the folders on the home screen would be kind of like your desktop on macOS, and then the files or the folders on the dock would be like a downloads folder that could play well with the Files app. That would be really cool. So I'm super excited to see what Apple does with iOS 13, specifically with the iPad, because that is in desperate need of basically making a pro device that a lot of users can use like a computer, but not have to pay so much money for a MacBook or even have the weight penalty of a MacBook, and you can just kind of do everything you want on one device rather than having both a iMac, MacBook, or or the iPad. So super interested to see what Apple does there, but let's go ahead and move on to some other features that we should be seeing specifically with the iPad. Now, next up is continuity, and continuity is a big topic when it comes to iDevices, specifically because it's the way that we communicate with other devices within the Apple ecosystem. So the first thing that I'd like to see with continuity is really, a faster and more seamless way to copy and paste text, files, anything like that between iOS and Mac devices. I work on my iPad Pro quite a bit, and I work on my MacBook Pro quite a bit. So I'd love to see kind of the ability to transfer files, not specifically through the Files app, but just by copy and pasting through the two devices, just be a lot more seamless and a lot faster. Now, the second thing I'd love to see in regards to continuity is really the ability to answer calls, and call quality will be better. So, answering calls is already a possibility on the iPad right now, but the call quality is really poor. And sometimes we don't get a lot of the quality that we should be getting, even though we have a great connection such as Wi-Fi. Now, I'd also like to see basically some security enhancements with that because, right now we have a lot of things kind of going in between two devices, and obviously we need, the proper security for that. So I'd just like to see some security enhancements to go along with that. If we're getting more ability to, transfer things in between devices, I'd love to see the proper security protocols for that. So without further ado, we have dark mode, and I for one am super excited about dark mode. If you are as well, leave a like down below and also comment what you want to see most with dark mode. So first things first, dark mode will be system-wide. We should be seeing a system-wide dark mode where you can actually switch in between a light mode and a dark mode, just like you have on macOS right now, and that will be basically seamless. You won't have to wait or reboot your phone. We should be seeing that come to iOS 13, and then we should also be seeing some controls within the control center where you can, tap and switch modes. Now, I'd also like to see with dark mode, kind of like an auto switching like we have on Twitter right now. It basically auto switches from light to dark themes when you're in the day and in the nighttime to light and dark mode accordingly. So I'd love to see that. That would be really cool because we already have a fantastic auto brightness system, and I just like to see, the ability to switch light and dark with the environment around you. Now, what I also like to see is a dark mode that allows for an always on display. Right now with the iPhone XS Max and all basically iPhone 10 devices that have that design, we have OLED panels within that device. And as you know, with Samsung, they have OLED, and that gives you the ability to have an always on display. Basically, the LED backlight is not lit all the time. It's only lit in certain areas. So having an always on display, specifically with dark mode, would be really cool. Now, I'm not specifically a fan with Samsung's always on display. I'd love to see something a little bit better, and I think Apple can definitely do it. So I'm holding out for Apple creating an always on display that looks cool and also contains a lot of features that are actually usable when your display is completely off. Okay, so we're on to the last part of this video, and that is covering new apps and new features. And the first new app that I really desperately want to see is kind of like a redesign to the Reminders app. The Reminders app currently looks very archaic, and I'd love to see this redesign coming to the Reminders app, and also some kind of new features with the Reminders app. So progress bars for multi-step task, also the ability to have multi-step tasks. That would be really cool. Better organization of your reminders into different categories like today, scheduled, and flagged, and then also shared tasks, because I'm always kind of working with other people, and having shared tasks would be really great, that you could share through like iCloud, iMessages, and all that. That would be really cool. And that would be really awesome to see some work done on the Reminders app, because I think it's been a while since Apple has kind of refreshed that app. Now, next up is the Music app, and specifically with the Music app, I'd love to see a slight redesign. I think it looks fine for now, but the more important thing that I'd really like to see is some better integration with kind of hearing all the music around you and having the ability to search music just a little bit better within the Music app. By that, I mean you should be having the ability to not have to go through Siri to find out what music is maybe playing in the background. Maybe there's a button or control that does that within the Music app. That would be really cool. And then you could just have access to that music straight through the Music app to iTunes. So that would actually make Apple a few bucks on their part, just making it really easy to find music and leading users directly to it. But it could also just be a really handy tool for people like me who, if you love to hear good music and you don't know what it is, it would kind of show you what that music is. Now, the next app is the Mail app, and this desperately needs a total redesign. The Mail app, like the Reminders app, looks a little bit archaic here in 2019, and I'd love to see something new with the Mail app, specifically an entire redesign from the ground up. Now, the Mail app is doing quite well. There's a lot of features that I love, but we can also be seeing the ability to add attachments more seamlessly and kind of with less of a hassle. I just like, the experience of attaching files and working with files to be a little bit more seamless within the Mail app. We can also see the ability to sign documents directly from the Mail app. A lot of times I have to, in order to sign a document, kind of transfer that out to an app like the Notes app or Notability, and that's just a few extra steps, and it just takes a little bit of time. Now, Apple phones were traditionally for like business people, and specifically with the iPad Pro, I'm signing a lot of things, so it only makes sense to have that ability within the Mail app, because obviously Apple wants you to use that app with all of your mail coming into your iDevice, and I just love to see that feature added to the Mail app. So I'd love to see some other features with the Mail app. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for there. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, a few other things, more new features that we should be seeing is a new volume indicator. The one that we have currently on the iPhone with iOS 12 is super intrusive, super annoying. It's just smack dab in the middle of the screen. That is a huge design flaw that Apple has kind of looked over for the past couple of years, actually since iOS has been made, and we definitely need something new in 2019 here, specifically with iOS 13. So I'd love to see something on the side, something on top, something that's a little bit less intrusive than what we have now. Instagram has done a really great job of this with their own kind of volume UI, and I think that looks great. So Apple, definitely take a look at Instagram's volume UI. That looks great. You don't have to copy it, but make something just a little bit less intrusive. Now, we should also be seeing Safari downloads within the Files app. I'd love to see the ability to download different folders and different files from the internet. That would make it really easy to go ahead and transfer that from the iPad Pro to a computer if you need to work with it, or you can work with, let's say, PSD files from your iPad and download them from the internet. So that would be really cool, and I really hope to see that within the Files app. Now, we also are expecting to see some widgets and kind of like a redesign of the widget page at least, but we also want to see some widgets being brought to the home screen. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see that. I personally would love to see that. I think it's a fantastic idea to have widgets on the home screen. I, for one, would love to get some more control over my home screen. I think widgets is a fantastic way to do that. And also, we should be seeing some more customization options with the home screen. Now, I don't know if Apple is actually going to do this. We've been holding out for a very long time, but I really want to see some customization options where we can actually place apps wherever we want. That would make it kind of pointless to have widgets on the home page if we weren't able to basically place apps around them. So I'd love to see both working in tandem, where you can have widgets anywhere and then apps anywhere. That would be really cool. And then you can kind of design your home screen as to how you want it around wallpapers and all that jazz. So I'd love to see those two features working hand in hand. But yes, that is a lot to ask from Apple, specifically because we've been waiting for that for so long. Now, the last thing that I would like to see, and something that is featured within this concept, is Find My Friends being integrated into the Maps app. It kind of makes a little bit less sense to have it in its own separate app along with Find My iPhone. I think that can all be integrated into the Maps app, specifically through kind of one app that has full control over all of these things. But I don't know what Apple's plans are with that. I know that we should be seeing a redesign with Find My Friends, and then we should definitely be seeing a kind of redesign and more features with Find My iPhone, specifically with the ability to turn the phone off if the passcode is not entered. So we'll have to stay tuned and wait for that. But guys, that is all of the new features, all of the new things that we should be seeing with iOS 13, and hats off to the artist of this render. He did a fantastic job, and I fully believe this is what we should be seeing within iOS 13. If you like this artist concept, I have it linked down below, and definitely throw a like on the video if you liked it. If you want to stay up to date with iOS 13 content, make sure to get subscribed and also hit the bell button to get updates as soon as that content is released. We are going to be staying up to date on the latest and greatest with iOS 13. If you want to get more involved with the channel and kind of talk to other users about iOS updates and all of that jazz, we have our Discord server, linked to that in the video description below, of course. And I am there. I can answer your questions about iOS and anything that we talk about here on the channel personally there. And then we also have I think 1,500 members there, which you could also talk to as well. So if you have any troubleshooting problems or any issues, there's always people over there. Now, if you want to get even more involved with the channel and get updates on what's going on with me and the channel specifically, you can follow me on Twitter. Code will be on screen. I'm trying to get a little bit more active there, so definitely give me a follow and say hi to me on Twitter. So guys, thank you for watching this video on iOS 13. I greatly appreciate your support in watching this video. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, comment in the comment section down below. I cannot wait for WWDC 2019. in like 8 days. So 8 days, come back to the channel and I will have some more content for you on the official release of iOS 13 Beta 1. So guys, thanks again, and hopefully I'll see you then in our next video. And until then, I hope you have an awesome day. Peace.